The road was one hell of a lot better than the day before, so we were pretty comfortable with that, and we were uh, well into the journey. We had about 40k to go, and Queen Bee broke. So sad. We just lost drive and glided peacefully to the side of the road. Um, um, and the weather wasn't very good anyway, so it was grey, which was nice when you were driving, and but showing signs of rain. So there was a big debate beside the road, um, and clearly we'd lost drive. We weren't too sure what it was, and of course, when I got back into the hotel finally, and I'll tell you about that process, um, realised that there's a rubber drive transfer mechanism inside the Morgan three wheeler, and I have seen another incident of that going. But so there was a bit of debate. The decision was to tow the vehicle to the hotel. So we duly set off, yes, and it started to rain. So it was cold, it was wet, it was getting dark. I was about 6 feet from the tow vehicle in front, with little or no visibility of anything, yes, getting colder and wetter. And then we missed the right turning, so we had to do a gigantic U-turn on a highway, which was terrifying. And then finally, when we turned off and came down the side roads, that was even wetter and even more terrifying. So I was a bit frazzled by the time we got to the hotel.
Tired, went straight off to sleep. Absolutely exhausted, as you can imagine. In fact, we all were. I think it was all a bit of a strain. Yesterday. Awful seeing Alan, poor old chap, being towed. I don't know how he managed because it was very, very dodgy, particularly in the dark. There were motorbikes coming down this tiny little road, which was pretty awful. On the motorway, people were sort of charging past us, and motorbikes on the inside and lorries and so on the outside. We even had one bike almost going over, when we were turning left, almost over the tow rope, which everybody in all the cars, I think, just raised their arms and went, "Oh no!" Anyway, luckily the person suddenly saw what was lying on the ground and stopped and so on. But that was a very, very nasty moment.
The decision that's been made Sunday morning is that we're going to transport the car to Kolkata because we can marry the shipment of the part to arriving there and then having the time to do the repair. I think that's the most sensible thing. So we're going to have three days when we won't be in the car, but we have to. It's absolutely essential. We get to see the Goonj locations, but a couple of locations along the way. It's so important for us, and so I think that's a good plan. So we're waiting for this conical drive transfer unit to be shipped. Got to make all the arrangements and find somebody in Kolkata to do the work, because we've got a couple of days there, so we can fit that in.
Well, actually, I was surprised. I came down to breakfast thinking, oh dear, we've got a lot of things to plan and sort out. Then went up to our room and then came back down again and found Peter and David talking to Alan, and they've changed the world, it seems. No, they've got everything organised, it seems, to take the car up on a carrier. They were phoning various people who said they could do the job. They could actually work on the car. And I thought, this is amazing. What a wonderful team we have working with us. I can't believe it. I was thinking that everybody's going to be a bit sort of in the doldrums and sad and miserable and all this sort of thing, but not at all. Buoyant and energised, which is fantastic. I'm really pleased.
So, bit of a setback. Queen Bee's not going to do quite the 5,600 kilometres that we thought, because we're going to miss about 400, I think, about that. What a shame. But and unusual for it to go with the mileages on the car, but I suspect that the battering it took the day before put undue stress on the transmission. I think that's where we're at. Morgan have been fantastic. We were speaking to them on the phone. They've sent the parts assembly, breakdown, and all the rest of it, and they're primed and ready to ship. And with the 3-day interval, that will be time for it to be couriered, and Kolkata will be a much better place than Gopal Pure, which is a few hundred K down the coast. So I think that's going to be a good scheme. So that's where we are. So we actually, having decided not to take the car apart in the car park, probably a good thing. We've actually got a Sunday off, which is what we were planning all along. It's just that the next few days aren't going to be quite as planned. There you go. It's a bit sad, really.